Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls offseason. We're doing a little offseason recap. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, Chicago Bulls fans. What do you guys think of the offseason that the Bulls have had? And I feel like for the last two off seasons, they've had very similar off seasons in terms of, look, they're very limited what they can do because they are, financially capped to the big three of, DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic, Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine. I guess it's really a big four. And then, of course, I guess Pat Williams, who we assume they're going to keep long term. And for me, I think that's the most interesting part in all this is the fact that, let's look at this. So Javonte Green's gone. He's a free agent. Derrick Jones Jr., he signed with the Mavericks. And then they let Pat Bev, who was like a huge part of their like resurgence defensively second half of the season, they just let him leave. And he's a native. So I was very shocked that they let him leave. And they waived Marko Simonovic. They re-signed Kobe White and Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic was on a decent deal. They brought in Javon Carter, which I thought was a great deal because he's going to help them, with Caruso, hopefully, recreate the Lonzo Ball defense they had when they were like 20-10 before Ball got hurt. And they drafted Julian Phillips and brought in Torrey Craig. For me, I thought these were decent moves. So let's talk about this team. It's definitely interesting to see. Are the goals of the Bulls going to be good this season? Or did they do enough? It seems like the Bulls were trying to move Zach LaVine, and there just wasn't anybody wanted him. And, they're essentially running it back with a team that wasn't nearly good enough the last two seasons since Lonzo Ball has gotten hurt. And Lonzo's out for the entire year again. DeMar DeRozan has been great, but they're definitely stuck, even with a solid supporting cast. And I doubt, they're going to blow it up because does this team have any kind of ceiling beyond the first round of the playoffs? And the front office has to find a better pathway to be something better. I don't know. What would you get for Zach LaVine? Okay. Because the Chicago Bulls with Zach LaVine are now the Washington Wizards. Okay. That's how I see. And like I've said it before, we look at the current team, like the current structure, okay, of what this team looks like. It's nothing crazy, okay? The current team is, they brought back Ayo DeSumo, and they also brought in, Terry Taylor, which was, a decent pickup. They've got Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, Kobe White, Pat Williams, Alex Caruso, Ayo DeSumo, Javon Carter, Andre Drummond, Dalen Terry, who looked all right in Summer League, Torrey Craig, Carlik Jones, and Julian Phillips. They got the 3 two-ways filled with on your Alp, Bitim, Justin Lewis, and Adama Sanogo, who Bitim is going to be like on a standard contract by the end of the year. So their roster is technically filled. I just sit here and I wonder, is it enough? Is it enough to make this team, contenders? I think what they need to be doing is hoping that I don't even think hoping because I think right now what you guys have to do, because you have a good supporting class. Like I've said it before, the idea of a Kobe White, Ayo DeSumo, Javon Carter, Alex Caruso, rotation is really good defensively. And then you look at the rest of the team, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Vucevic. Those guys can account for 60 points a night. The 4 guards combined can combine for another 40 points every night. So my thought is this team, I think, could be a second round team. Seriously. Second round. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, they're the best thing since sliced bread. Because then I would be lying to you. I'd be lying. Okay? I got so many friends who are Chicago Bulls fans. And I went through this as a Washington Wizards fan, okay? For me, I think it was smart that they brought back Vucevic on a cheap deal because I think Vuce will be traded. If, let's say, the Bulls are kind of how they were last season, I wouldn't be surprised if Vooch is traded. I personally think Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, those two guys are fine to build around. I mean, I think having a center like Vooch was the problem for this team. And they didn't address this offseason. Like, I honestly think there's a chance that this team is a better starting lineup if the starting lineup is Pat Williams, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, I guess it'll be Alex Caruso or Javon Carter, and Andre Drummond. And then you make your six man. Guess who's your six man? Nikola Vucevic. Make him a six man. I just think because I'm not saying that Andre Drummond's a great defender. He's a better defender than Vooch. And the whole thing is because you have two offensive guys in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, that they're not going to give you shit on defense, okay? You need to have a defensive big back there. You need someone who can anchor the defense alongside Pat Williams. Pat Williams is a good defender. Javon Carter, Alex Caruso, great defenders. And so is Iota Sumo. I think that's the problem. You look at Billy Donovan teams that he's been successful with, like that, it's been either Serge Ibaka, Steven Adams, okay? So for me, that's what I'm thinking, okay? Probably should have kept Wendell Carter Jr. at this point. That's a joke, guys.